All right, so by now, we've all heard about it. Bugha, a 16-year-old kid, won $3 million at the Fortnite World Cup this weekend. Your friends that don't even play video games, your brother, even your mom is texting you asking about it. But to me, as I watch Bugha pop off and win life-changing money before he even graduated high school, I couldn't help but ask myself, who the fuck is this kid? And to me, the fact that I even have to ask is a massive problem. This weekend, Epic Games tossed around $30 million of prize money across 3 days of sold-out competition. There were celebrities, parties, headshots, and lifetime supplies of money handed out as over 2 million people watched across YouTube and Twitch. And to me, as someone who watched it all and has been a pretty big fan of Fortnite esports since the experiment started, I gotta say, I was pretty blown away by the product. Now, I'm not saying this is perfect. After all, it's still Battle Royale esports. Sometimes things just aren't happening. There's a guy on screen chopping wood, or there's wood panels being flown around in every direction, explosions, and it can be a little hard to follow. But we've had these Battle Royale issues forever. But what we didn't have is what I want to talk to you about today. What I saw this weekend wasn't what I'm used to with Fortnite. It wasn't kids flossing or TimTheTatman taking fall damage or Ninja streaming at Lollapalooza. What we got to see this weekend was the real hardcore Fortnite esports.
Wants to try and drop out in an opportune moment. Wait a minute, this shockwave's gonna change everything! Cloakzy needs to line these shots up! He's got no HP, can he do it? He does!
Yes, that actually exists. It's not just dancing and celebrations. There are kids behind those monitors that are grinding and have been grinding for the last 10 weeks to put on a show at this World Cup. These are the kids that are mechanically gods at these shooters. With this game, we kind of got the opposite direction of what we're used to with esports. If you're talking about a game like League of Legends or Counter-Strike, when they first rose to prominence, we became immediately familiar with the best players. But with Fortnite, we kind of got the biggest celebrities first. But this weekend, we finally got to see what being great at Fortnite really means in a competitive sense. These kids that you're seeing all these headlines about, they're not Fortnite celebrities. They're the simples of Fortnite, the fakers of Fortnite, the kinds of esports personalities that are associated with only their skill and how good they are at the game. And from my perspective, it's about time that we see that in Fortnite. Look, I know that a lot of you have not been paying attention to this game and its esports scene the way I have. But over the last year, Epic Games has made some strides to make the viewing experience a little more watchable. They've added mobility mechanics like ballers and rifts in order to make sure players can get across the map to emphasize as many engagements as possible. This way, you get to see these great players fighting each other and build battling each other as often as possible in competitive matches.
Dr. Lupo, it might be time soon. It might be time soon. Bugha smiling. He's got the health advantage on Creo.
He does.
Folks, it might be time for the shockwave play. Bugha could soar up into the sky. Go for it. Here it is. Shockwave died. Shots coming in. No elimination yet for the first game victory royale.
Oh my gosh. Confident play from Bugha.
They also added this thing called Storm Surge, which almost forces players to start fighting in the middle of the game. So you don't get that kind of one-by-one, everyone's kind of staring at each other experience that early Fortnite esports was criticized for so heavily. All right, so why am I giving you Fortnite patch notes in this video? Well, to me, a lot of this stuff that they've done has actually allowed these players to shine. And not only that, it allowed the broadcast to shine. It allowed people like Dr. Lupo and Courage on camera to pop off the way that we celebrate casters and other esports for doing. And to me, once all of that stuff was put together, this weekend kind of seemed like the $30 million extravaganza that everyone said it was gonna be. And with all of that stuff contained and nicely packaged into one weekend, what I saw was a real esports scene, a hardcore esports scene where the best of the best fight it out, and it's not about celebrity or Twitch viewership. And all that is great. Don't get me wrong, I'm stoked about it. But like I said in the intro, the big problem here is nobody knows who the fuck any of these players are. Look, this isn't on them. They're grinding, they're playing 12 hours a day to try to be the best player in the world on the biggest stage. This is on Epic. Bugha qualified for this tournament on week 1 of the qualifying season, and I'd maybe heard his name once since then. And then this weekend, he almost doubled the points total of the second place player. This guy dominated the tournament. He was the best player by a massive margin. And the fact that I had hardly heard about him until he raised the World Cup trophy is a massive failure on Epic's part. And it's not just Bugha. There were 100 players in that lobby, and even more at the tournament. A real built-out esports scene the way that we've seen in CSGO for years. But when I think about Fortnite esports, when I think about Fortnite in general, I think about kids flossing and news clips and Ninja and all of these celebrities, which I think is great. But if you want there to be a difference between Fortnite, the cultural phenomena, and Fortnite esports, where we're taking it seriously, then I need to know who these players are. I need to watch 100 of the best players in the same lobby every week to see who comes out on top. Look, we've watched for the last year as celebrities have taken this game and risen it to a level of popularity with non-endemic players that we've never seen from a game before. It's time to focus on the guys that can click on heads and build the Taj Mahal as soon as they see you in game. It's time to see how far this esports scene can grow if Epic just lets it. Look, we've seen and we know that Epic can build these guys into superstars once they're millionaires. This weekend, Epic announced what to me seems like what will be a Fortnite league.
Once Season 9 wraps up and we move into our next season, we'll be debuting the Fortnite Championship Series. This will give players a chance to compete against the best of the best, where every single result matters. Now, this is just a taste of what's to come as we also plan on stepping up our competitive efforts across the board.
And that hopefully means 100 of the best players in the world going head to head every week to see who comes out with the victory royale. And if that cannot build stars out of these guys, then there is no hope for this esports scene.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring that notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages.